In 2002, a construction worker named Jack Whittaker won $314 million. 4 years later, he was broke. This video is about why. Here's the part nobody tells you. Jack Whittaker didn't lose $314 million to bad investments. He didn't get scammed. He didn't make one catastrophic decision. He did what most people do when they have more money than their identity knows what to do with. He gave it away. He spent it. He distributed it until the number in his account matched the person he believed himself to be. His granddaughter developed a drug addiction after the win. She died at 17. His daughter died 2 years later. His wife left. And Jack, in an interview years afterwards, said, "I wish I'd torn that ticket up. $314 million. Gone." Now, here's the question no one asks about Jack Whittaker. What if his bank account was never the problem? What if the 70% of lottery winners who go broke within 5 years have the same issue as the person watching this right now? Someone who knows exactly what they should be doing with money, and still isn't doing it. What if real, lasting wealth has almost nothing to do with how much money you have? What if it's a software problem? In the next 14 minutes, I'm going to show you 5 pieces of code that were installed in your brain, without your permission, before you were old enough to understand money, that are actively running your financial decisions right now. We're going to name them, trace them, and I'm going to show you how to start rewriting them. Here's what I mean by software. Your financial situation, your income, your savings, your debt, your investments, that's your hardware. Measurable, real, and almost every piece of financial advice you've ever received is designed to upgrade your hardware. Save more, invest in index funds, build an emergency fund, increase income streams. That advice is correct, all of it. The problem is it assumes the person receiving it is running updated software. Most people aren't. Your financial software is the operating system underneath every money decision you make. It's your beliefs about money, your emotional relationship with wealth, the stories you carry about what money means, what wealthy people are like, and whether someone like you can actually have it. This software wasn't designed, it was inherited, assembled from fragments of your childhood, the words your parents used when bills were due, the shame or pride you watched them carry, the signals your environment sent before you had any framework to evaluate them. And software runs whether you're aware of it or not. Most people spend their entire lives trying to solve a software problem with hardware upgrades. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why people who earn raises end up with the same financial pressure. That's why someone can read every personal finance book ever written and still not act on what they know. Today we're looking at 5 pieces of legacy code, bugs in the system, that are costing most people hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Let's start with the one that gets installed earliest. Imagine you're 8 years old. Tuesday night, you're supposed to be asleep, but you can hear your parents talking downstairs. "We can't afford it. The bill is late. What are we going to do?" You don't process this as financial information. You process it as a threat, and your brain does what brains are built to do under threat. It creates a rule. There is never enough. This rule doesn't feel like a belief. It doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like the truth, like how the world works. And for the next 30 years, every financial decision you make will be filtered through it. Behavioral economists have studied this extensively. People operating from scarcity become sharper tactically in the short term and completely blind strategically in the long term. They optimize for immediate relief, not long-term growth. In practice, spending impulsively because some part of you doesn't believe the money will be there later. Avoiding investment because the fear of losing what you have outweighs any possible gain. Staying in a job you've outgrown because the certainty of a paycheck overrides the possibility of something better. Scarcity code keeps you playing defense your entire financial life. And here's what no one tells you. You don't have to have grown up poor to carry it. Research shows scarcity thinking is transmitted emotionally, not financially. A parent terrified of money, even in a stable household, passes that fear on. A community that treated wealth with suspicion passes that suspicion on. You absorb the emotional signal, not the bank balance. Recognizing this code doesn't erase it, but it creates a pause. And in that pause you can ask, is this a real threat, or is this old code running? That pause is where financial behavior starts to change. Here is one of the most important sentences in this video. You will never, consistently and long-term, build wealth at a level that contradicts your self-image. Not because you lack discipline, because your brain is hardwired to maintain consistency with its own self-concept, and it will sabotage any reality that contradicts that concept, automatically, without your permission. If deep down you believe you are not a money person, if wealth carries associations with people fundamentally different from you, a world you weren't meant to enter. Your subconscious will root around every attempt you make to become one. This is why Jack Whittaker went broke. He was a working man. His self-image, forged over 55 years, was the self-image of a working man. When $314 million arrived and exceeded that image, his behavior corrected for the inconsistency. He gave it away, spent it, distributed it, until the account matched the identity. Lifestyle inflation works identically. Think of someone who earns significantly more than they did 5 years ago, and somehow carries the same financial pressure. That is not stupidity. It is identity conflict running. The self-image sets the ceiling. Income grows to meet it, and then behavior corrects back down. The way to begin rewriting this code is counterintuitive. You have to claim the identity before the evidence supports it. Start thinking like an investor, making decisions like an investor, when your brokerage account has $200 in it. Not because you're delusional, because identity precedes behavior. It does not follow it. The evidence comes after the identity is set, never before. In 1971, psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky sat people in a room at Hebrew University and gave them a choice. Option A, receive $1,000, guaranteed. Option B, flip a coin. Heads, $2,500. Tails, nothing. Mathematically, option B has higher expected value. The rational choice is B. The majority chose A. Then they reversed the scenario. Option A, lose $1,000, guaranteed. Option B, flip a coin. Heads, lose nothing. Tails, lose $2,500. Option A is mathematically superior, but the majority chose option B, gambling on a potentially larger loss just to avoid the certainty of a smaller one. What they discovered: the emotional pain of losing $1 is approximately twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining $1. Losses loom larger than gains. Not slightly, twice as large. This finding, which earned Kahneman the Nobel Prize in Economics, explains more about persistent financial underperformance than almost anything else in behavioral science. It explains why people leave money in savings accounts earning 1% instead of investing it in index funds averaging 8%. The possibility of a temporary dip feels more threatening than the certainty of inflation eroding their savings year after year. It explains panic selling during corrections. The pain of watching the number fall overrides every rational understanding of historical recovery patterns. It explains why people don't start businesses, don't ask for raises, don't change careers, because the potential loss of security feels twice as heavy as any possible gain. You are not irrational when you feel this. You are human. This code served our ancestors. In an environment where a loss could mean starvation, extreme risk aversion was survival. In a modern financial context, running that same code costs hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. The fix is not to eliminate the fear, it's to name it. The next time you feel resistance before a financial decision, pause and ask, is this genuine danger? Or is this loss aversion running on 50,000-year-old code? Most of the time, it's the code. In 2017, researchers at the University of Pittsburgh published a study examining social media use and financial behavior across 1,800 adults. Finding: higher social media consumption was directly correlated with higher rates of impulse spending, increased consumer debt, and greater financial anxiety, regardless of income. This is not because social media is uniquely dangerous. It's because your brain was designed for a social environment of approximately 150 people, a tribe. Measuring relative status against that group was a legitimate survival mechanism. Low status in a small community had real consequences. Today, your brain receives status signals from thousands of curated, optimized, filtered lives, simultaneously, continuously, and it responds the only way it knows how, by registering a gap and triggering behavior designed to close it. You buy the car to close the gap. You take the vacation on credit to close the gap. You upgrade the apartment before you can support it, because the tribal brain interprets the gap as threat, and closing it feels neurologically like safety. Every dollar spent closing that gap is a dollar that will not compound. Research on high net worth wealth builders shows one consistent trait. They are remarkably indifferent to social financial signals. They drive modest cars when their income could support luxury. They live below what their wealth allows. They do not perform money. They accumulate it quietly. The override is deceptively simple. Replace the external scorecard with an internal one. Stop measuring against what you see on a screen. Start measuring against your own numbers from 12 months ago. Savings rate, net worth, investment contributions. The only competition that actually advances your financial life is the one you run against your previous self. I'll start investing when I have more money. I'll get serious about this next year. I'll figure it out when things settle down. Someday, let me show you exactly what someday costs. $300 a month, starting at age 25, at 8% average annual return. Age 65, approximately $1 million. Same $300, same 8% return. Starting at 35, age 65, $440,000. Same investment, same return. 1 decade of delay. Cost, $560,000. That is the price of someday. Not in theory, in math. Someday syndrome runs on 2 documented mechanisms. Present bias, the hardwired tendency to overvalue the immediate and undervalue the distant. Your brain processes future rewards as less real than present ones, which is why $300 next month feels more concrete than $1 million in 40 years, even when the math is right in front of you. The planning fallacy, the consistent human tendency to believe that future you will be more motivated, more disciplined, and better prepared than present you. They won't be. Future you will face the same resistance, the same competing priorities, the same rationalizations, with less time on the clock. The cure is radical simplicity. Make the action so small that postponing it requires more effort than doing it. Not a plan, an action. Today, open the account, set up the $50 automatic transfer, click the button. The momentum of starting is worth more than the perfection of a plan that hasn't started. Let's name what these 5 codes actually are. They are not evidence that you're bad with money. They are not character flaws. They are not signs of insufficient willpower. They are the predictable outputs of a brain built for a world that no longer exists, shaped by experiences you didn't choose, in environments you didn't design, before you had any framework to evaluate the signals being sent to you. The scarcity code didn't come from you. It came to you. The identity conflict didn't come from you. It came to you. Loss aversion is not a flaw. It's biology running in the wrong context. Social comparison isn't vanity. It's a tribal survival instinct operating in an environment 10,000 times larger than it was designed for. And someday isn't laziness. It's a brain doing exactly what brains do, protecting present comfort at the cost of future outcomes. You did not write this code, but you are the only one who can rewrite it. Here's how you start. Pick one, not 5. 1. Identify which of these codes is most active in your financial life right now. The one you recognized most clearly, the one that made you uncomfortable. Write down its name, just the name. Then for the next 30 days, every time you feel that code activate before a financial decision, name it out loud before you act. That's loss aversion. That's someday syndrome. That's comparison code. You don't have to fix it immediately. You don't have to overpower it. You just have to see it. Because the moment you can name what's running your decisions, you have something you didn't have before. A choice. If something in this video landed, if one of those codes felt uncomfortably familiar, do one thing right now while you're still thinking about it. Not tomorrow. Now. Write down the name of the code that's costing you the most. Just the name. And if you want to go deeper, the next video on this channel is about the 7 behavioral patterns that separate people who actually build wealth from people who read about it. Not standard advice. They're actual behaviors. It's on screen right now. I'll see you there.